Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney General Bondi, I think you and pretty much everybody else here and throughout the country believes that convicted sex offenders don't deserve special treatment or privileges in prison. And yet Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, received perk after perk in prison. In July, she had a 2-day interview with your deputy and President Trump's former defense attorney, Todd Blanche. Just days after that, Maxwell was transferred from a federal correctional institution in Florida to a minimum security camp in Texas, which she, as a sex offender, would normally be ineligible for. At this new facility, as the ranking member talked about, and by the way, it's nicknamed Club Fed, we've heard reports that she's been afforded special privileges, puppy time, private workouts, personal mail, secretarial services. Attorney General Bondi, does a convicted sex offender like Ghislaine Maxwell deserve special treatment and privileges in prison? Yes or no?
Let me be crystal clear on this. No. And
Thank you.
Let me keep going. No, let me keep going.
Perfect. Well, I
did not know she was being transferred.
I asked you yes or no.
She was not transferred to a lower
Mr. Chairman,
level.
please stop the clock and remind the witness of the rules. One rule she needs to understand.
And I'm glad that we're agreeing. So when we're agreeing, we can move on to some other things. But I want you to know that every time she does get these perks, and it's been publicly reported, that the folks she's abused, the survivors who are sitting here, they see themselves as being denied justice. They feel re-traumatized. And I'm glad that we agree on that. But she should not be in that prison. And she needs to be moved back to a maximum security prison as soon as possible. But what she has told another committee here is that she won't cooperate with them unless she gets clemency from Donald Trump. It's just crazy to consider that she can be wielding this kind of influence within the administration. But that begs the question, who ordered her to be transferred to the minimum security prison that she was ineligible for? Who signed off on the special privileges? Was it Mr. Blanche? Was it one of your other subordinates? So please, can you tell us who sent her there, since you don't agree she should be there?
I said I do not agree she should receive special treatment. She was transferred, I learned after the fact, to the same level facility, and that is a question for the Bureau of Prisons. I was not involved in that at all. The same level facility, I don't know why, but you know, instead of talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, who hopefully will die in prison, you should be talking about Irina Zarutska.
I have a couple
who
of
died
other
on a subway.
Right, and I absolutely—
You don't talk about that.
I have been talking about it and actually helping with these issues. But we're gonna move back to you.
I bet we are.
Yes, of course, because you're here to testify. That's what the whole point of this endeavor is. So of course we're moving back to you. It is all about you. So as we've heard, she took the fifth in response to every single question in that committee hearing. And her lawyer dangled the offer of clemency. Should Donald Trump pardon or commute her sentence? Should she be released from prison, yes or no? You said you hope she dies there, so I'm hoping the answer is no.
I already answered that question.
Good. I'm very glad. I really like this bipartisan agreement about what should happen.
With you, but you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You don't want to talk about
I talk about her
murdered
all
by
the
a
time,
violent crime
but I am not here to testify before Congress. You are. That is your job today. That's what you're getting paid for.
With attack.
I want you to know that your own DOJ employee, he's recently been demoted and had some other problems, advises on pardons. Do you think he will be advising Mr. Trump on any kind of clemency or pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell?
I'm not going to speculate, and you couldn't even identify properly. That's why you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska.
This wasn't a normal hearing. Lawmakers grilled Attorney General Pam Bondi over reports that Ghislaine Maxwell received special treatment in prison, including a transfer to a lower security facility and alleged privileges that critics say re-traumatize victims. The exchange got tense fast. Questions about pardons, clemency, DOJ accountability, and the Epstein fallout triggered repeated interruptions and sharp back-and-forth clashes. What made this moment go viral wasn't just the politics, it was the raw frustration in the room. One side demanded answers about Maxwell's treatment. The other pushed back, accusing critics of ignoring violent crime victims elsewhere. And then came the biggest question. Why was Maxwell transferred at all? Bondi claimed she learned about it after the fact and said the Bureau of Prisons made the decision. But lawmakers weren't buying the lack of accountability. No matter where you stand politically, this hearing exposed just how explosive anything connected to Epstein still is in America. This hearing hit a nerve because it touched the one issue that still enrages people across the political spectrum: whether the powerful play by a different set of rules. Lawmakers came in demanding answers about why Ghislaine Maxwell, one of the most infamous convicted figures tied to Jeffrey Epstein, was reportedly transferred to a lower security prison and allegedly receiving privileges many inmates could never dream of. And the moment those questions started, the room instantly turned combative. You could feel the frustration building. Every answer from Attorney General Pam Bondi seemed to raise even more questions. She insisted she didn't authorize the transfer and claimed the Bureau of Prisons handled it independently. But critics weren't satisfied. They wanted accountability, names, signatures, and explanations. What made this exchange so explosive was the deeper implication behind it all. If someone connected to one of the biggest sex trafficking scandals in modern history can receive favorable treatment, what does that say about the justice system itself? Then the hearing completely shifted gears. Instead of staying focused on Maxwell, Bondi fired back by accusing lawmakers of ignoring violent crimes committed against ordinary Americans. That instantly transformed the hearing from a prison oversight discussion into a broader political war over crime, victims, media attention, and selective outrage. The interruptions, the sarcasm, the talking over each other, this wasn't just political theater. It reflected something much bigger. A growing public belief that elites, insiders, and politically connected figures operate under a different system entirely. And perhaps the most telling moment came when lawmakers directly asked whether Donald Trump should ever pardon or commute Maxwell's sentence. Even the possibility triggered visible discomfort in the room because everyone understands how politically radioactive that question is. At its core, this hearing wasn't only about Ghislaine Maxwell. It was about trust, trust in the DOJ, trust in prison oversight, trust in whether justice is truly equal. And judging by the intensity of this exchange, that trust is hanging by a thread. Do you think Ghislaine Maxwell is being treated differently because of who she knows? Drop your thoughts below. And if you believe powerful people should be held accountable just like everyone else, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more hearing breakdowns and political confrontations.